Well, hello, my little potato, you beautiful soul. You know, I always like to start off with I love you, so I love you. Today was my very first vendor fair. And I, well, let's just say it didn't go as I expected. However, I'm not, I won't be giving up. Today was my first one. It was a learning experience. Um, so I'll tell you all the things that happened. First of all, I walked in and I was walking, right when I was walking in, I my I heard a voice saying my name and I was like, "What's that?" And he said the person I looked straight at the person, but I didn't recognize him because I haven't seen him in so long. And he said his name and I was like, "Holy crap." I was like, was not expecting to see anyone that I knew here, which is kind of funny because my one friend said that she used to joke that you can't take me anywhere because I know somebody everywhere. So excuse me, that was kind of an example of that, I suppose, because there were a lot of people there. Not, I wouldn't say like a lot, but enough, you know. So I was at first I was next to them, and then they had me move, which actually turned out to be quite fortuitous, I would think, in my opinion. It's my opinion and it's my life, so yeah. Um, I ended up standing next to this lady, and it was her first vendor fair as well. And I was like admiring her tablecloth. I'm like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" She's like, "Oh, I got it Aldi for $3." So that's on my list for the next vendor fair. She also had a price list, which I thought was really good because then she can like, people don't have to ask her how much it is. They're just like, "Oh, there's a price." So that she had that in like a picture frame. And at first my coloring books were closed, and then when I opened them, then then there was like a little bit more interest. I'm really glad that I did the coloring book, like the free coloring book giveaway page, because then people could take it. And I did notice like my print my copy had an error, so then I was freaking out that it wasn't correct. So I came home and it was correct, so that was all good. And the person that I was standing next to, where I was talking to her, and she turns out she lives down the street from me. So like not like down the street, like in the neighborhood, but she lives like she lives relatively close to me. So she's like, "Yeah, if you want to come over one day and just like work during the day, we can do that. And then, you can have like kind of like body doubling." She's like, "If you ever just want to get out of the house." And I was like, "Yeah." And turns out that she also has a contact who's in publishing that she's like, "Oh, I'd like to introduce you." So even though I didn't sell any copies, I would not say it was a complete fail because I did learn a lot. And next time, I'm not going to take any baked goods because I felt like that took away from my table and also put like a level of pressure on me. So next time there won't be any baked goods. I do have one more vendor fair that I'm doing in July. And then I think they're doing another one in August. So in August, by the time August comes around, I'll have more experience and then I can decide because that's in summers when people buy things and I felt like that was something that was really good. So I'll have like a tablecloth, I'll have signs, I'll have more products by then because I'll have three coloring books. I'll actually have two children's coloring books. So at least the very least I'll have two children's coloring books, two regular coloring books, and of course, I'm working on the fifth one. And then, like I said, I came home and I ate food. Actually, I talked to my friend on the way home because she was like, I was telling her I felt about it, and we talked for I ate lunch and then went upstairs and like I said I was gonna take a bath and I took a bath and got out of the bath and like put oil on and then like did a meditation, listening to meditation. I fell asleep and I basically took a 3 hour nap. And I woke up because my friend called me and I was like, "What time is it?" And then I had dinner with my dad. I was like on the phone and I was like, "Okay." And then my dad called me and he's like, "Oh, I went downstairs, had dinner, and then I asked my sister, I'm like, "Hey, do you want me to give you gas? Do you want me to go put gas? You want me to give you money for gas?" And so I just want to put gas in her car. And then she and I got into a fight about that. I don't know. And I was talking to my friend about it because I was just like, it's not. I, one of the reasons that I appreciate you so much is that I can talk freely to you. And today, when my sister and I got into it, I was just like, I was just putting, I like literally, I'm like literally fighting with her about putting gas in her car. And I'm like, really? And I was just trying to say, look, I know I use your car, so I use your car, and I put extra since you always seem to complain about how much gas I use. But I think what I'm gonna have to do is, if that's gonna be like this, then I'm just gonna have to start keeping track of all the times I've used the gas mileage and how much I use, because this is ridiculous. I'm tired of being like, I'm like, I was like, I used her car the other day, and she's like, I don't care, just go. And then today it was, well, I thought you were only gonna be gone for an hour, and you're gonna go on for 2.5 hours. And I wanted to go to Aldi, and I'm like, you could have just said, hey, I want to go to Aldi. But to me, it sounded like I don't care. And then now all of a sudden do care. So which one is it? But I feel like sometimes that I'm not allowed to express my feelings because I have to hold them in, because I have to can't get mad at my sister. Like, my sister and I were starting to get into it. My mom was like, blah, 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 and I'm like, shut up. I'm like, I can't say anything. And then this morning when I was leaving for the vendor fair, I was leaving and I had my clothes and my suitcase and everything, because I put the coloring book in the suitcase, so then that way people, I could just, whatever. And my mom's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "To an event." Why? Because I'm going to an event. Because in my mind, there's no need for me to be like, "Where are you going?" I'm going to a vendor fair. Why are you going to a vendor fair? Because I'm a vendor. What are you selling? Who said you could sell that? Why would you sell it? Why would anyone want to buy that? And I'm like, I don't need that negativity in my life. So I didn't say anything. I just said, I'm going to an event. I'm just going to an event. There's no need to say where I'm going, why I'm going, what I'm doing, because it would literally be, what are you doing? Who said you could do that? Where'd you get the money for that? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, no. I mean, I get yelled at for baking. Literally, I get yelled at because I bake. What kind of crap is that? And I'm like, now I'm gonna be like, I'm going to a vendor fair and I'm trying to sell. Like, I just was like, I can't deal with this. So I was upset because when my sister and I got into it, I said, it seems like I'm the only one who's not allowed to express my emotions. Like, because if I express them, then they're like, be quiet, you're getting angry. Who said you could get angry? And just like all these, like, so many things. Like, how am I supposed to how am I supposed to live and not be able to feel free to express my emotions and actually be with someone and say, that's not true. It's not that you can't express your emotions. That is true. Because my dad is constantly telling me, and my brother as well, don't be so emotional. Don't be so emotional. Take the emotions out of it. Be more logical. I'm really glad that when they made their life decisions, they put them on a piece of paper and they said, logic, 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 logic. That's not true, and I can say that. And to say to someone to take the emotions out of it and to be logical when you don't do the same, and to also be hypocritical, irks the crap out of me. And today, I came downstairs to have dinner with my family, and I did, my sister got up from the table and she did her dishes. And then my dad got up from the table and put his plate next to the sink, like within inches of the sink. Didn't even put it in the sink, next to the sink. I got up from the table, I washed my dishes and his, and then left. And then went upstairs. And then I came back downstairs later because I had to go look for the card to go get my sister's card. And then my dad was complaining that I didn't do the dishes completely. Do you know that I used to live with them like years ago? And I used to do laundry for 5 people, wash, sort, bring it all down, sort it, wash it, dry it, fold it, and put it in everyone's basket. And my dad would complain that I did not do the laundry fully because I didn't put it away. I am not the maid. I am not your wife. I'm not the maid. I am not the wife. Your wife didn't even do that for you. Don't talk to me about, oh, this is how you serve. I'm not here to serve. I'm here and like, oh, I'm served. Like, do you know, like, messaging like that is like told me growing up that give, give. And and people are like, oh, well, just, you're supposed to give. Then you grow up and you're like, oh, I'm trying to sell things and you can't even sell things. So you're like, oh, I should be giving it away. Do you know that you can't take care of yourself? You can't take care of others when you can't even take care of yourself? I saw a thing on a post on Reddit today and it said people that were quit at 100 episodes of your podcast. Why'd you quit? And somebody said, I'm at however many episodes I'm at because it's cheaper to have a podcast than to go to therapy. The one point in the day when I can speak freely without retribution, without someone saying, be quiet. Who do you think you are? Who said you could do that? Why would anyone want to? And I have to fight those voices every single day, every single day to even be able to do what I do. And yeah, I went to that vendor fair and like yesterday I got a notification like, don't forget your $50 bill is due in a few days. And I have a bill that's due in 50 days and I have a bill that's due in a couple days and $50 and let's see. I spent $17. Oh, so I have $42 in one account to $3.45. So I have I think 48. I think if I put all my money, I have $48 in one, $3 in another account, so that's 48. If I put all my money together, I might have $50, more like 49 and change. And I know that I'm aware that the end of the year is going to be fine. And I know I have a check coming in July, and I know I have a check coming in a few days. I don't know when exactly it's coming, but once that check comes in, I'll be fine. And then all I have to do is make it until I get my next check, and my next check, and my next check. And I don't know. But I have a check coming in mid July, and I have this check coming for $500. And when that check for uh, $500 comes, that will get me through July. I'll live off of that because I can. And I just got to figure out this, you know, one thing. I don't know. I went off on a tangent today. I didn't expect that. But again, that's why I appreciate you. Because you take time out of your day to listen to me and it feels like you care. So thank you. Thank you for listening. It means a lot. I love you. And I will talk to you tomorrow.